Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a Sunday edition of Jake's Hot Takes. My name is Jake McVey, your host as always, and today I'm joined by a very special guest, former Washingtonville alumni and current Syracuse University senior track star Elijah Mallard. Elijah, how are you feeling today?
I'm feeling great, Jake. I'm really excited to be here. It's a very big pleasure to be here, and let's get it.
All right, man. So you have been taking the track world by storm, so to speak. You had an incredibly illustrious career at Washingtonville and are currently on pace to kind of reach those same heights in Syracuse. Why don't you tell me just a little bit about what you've achieved so far?
Yeah, so in my high school career, I was a All-American, a two-time state champion. I won many section titles with Washingtonville. I broke, I believe, 5 school records at Washingtonville. At one point in the peak of my career, I was number 1 in the U.S. in the 400 hurdles. I ended my career at Washingtonville as a senior, 4th in the nation. So it was a very big pleasure to run at Washingtonville. I'm very thankful for my experience there, and hopefully I'll continue the same thing in my senior year, hopefully.
Yeah, and you are certainly getting it done at Syracuse. You want to tell me a little bit about what you've accomplished at Syracuse so far?
Yeah, so I've accomplished a decent amount, and I really want to accomplish more, in my opinion. But so far, my freshman year, I broke the 300-meter school record in my second meet at Syracuse. I broke the 400-meter record in my sophomore year. We broke the 4x4 record my freshman year. So that was a very, very big accomplishment, that 4x4 record. It was awesome. We really didn't think we were going to break it at all, to be honest. And I've been all ACC 2 times in the 400 hurdles, and I've made the first round of NCAAs twice, but I've never been able to make it past that first round because of injury or mental tiredness, something. My freshman year, I was exhausted. I don't know what I was doing my freshman year, but, you know, it was rough.
Yeah, that college experience can take it out of you, man, especially being an athlete. You know, I'm not getting up at 6 a.m. to go train or anything, and I still feel exhausted on a day-to-day basis.
It's rough. Those Saturday morning practices, man, running up that hill, it's not fun.
Yeah, I'm lucky if I get up before noon on a Saturday, so you're doing better than me. But before we get too deep into your college career, let's take a step back. Let's go all the way back to the beginning, actually, the genesis of Elijah Mallard, the athlete. Who would you say was your biggest inspiration to begin running in the first place?
That's easy. You already know him, my brother. It's ever since I've been a kid, I've just been competing with Josh. You know that. He was a big track star.
Yeah.
In high school. Him and his relay won the state championship. They were second in the nation. They were crazy, man. And Josh has always been somebody I've looked up to a lot. And I've just always been riding his coattails until, I got to high school and I surpassed kind of everything he did. But no shade to him. But, he was always the big factor, and I always really wanted to just outdo what he did. And it was just a matter of brotherly love.
Right. And what was the reaction out of Josh when, as you said, you came in and kind of took that next step beyond what he had accomplished? What was Josh's reaction to that?
He couldn't have been more proud. I mean, obviously there was probably some spite, but that's just a brotherly thing.
That's
but
brothers.
He was over the moon about it, and at points it made him want to start running again. I remember he was at Buffalo, or he was going to go to Buffalo, and he was like, "Man, I kind of want to start running again," because he saw what I was doing. I'm just like, "Do it, man! Like, get back at it." He had torn his hamstring his sophomore year at Stack, so he took like a gap year, and he wanted to get back into college, and he wanted to get back into running. So he saw what I was doing. He's like, man, I miss it. And I wanted him to get back into it. Unfortunately, that didn't work out, but he's doing better things now. He's a state trooper. I'm real proud of him. It's great what he's doing.
Yeah, sounds like y'all boys got a lot to be proud of. All right. And who would you say was your biggest influence in terms of coaching throughout your time? It could be an actual team coach. It could be an older guy on the team, or it could be someone else. Pretty much anyone that occupied that coaching role in your life.
That's a rough one. But in terms of high school, I got to say it was a guy named Noah Rosario. That guy, he was like my older brother. I looked up to him so much, man. I miss him to this day. I actually saw him earlier in the summer, but he was somebody that I just always looked up to, and he was always there for me. He taught me the ropes. He taught me everything. So even that big group of older seniors in high school, they taught me everything. TJ, Justin, Nick, like Chris Jackson, like all of them. They all taught me everything I knew. And I'm so thankful for them, like to this day. In terms of college, I got to say it's my guy Manny, Manny Joseph, shout out. That's my guy. That's my brother. A lot of love to him. He was somebody that I raced in high school, and he used to whoop me, man.
Yeah.
We went down to White Plains for the Laux meet. He blew me out of the water in the 110 hurdles. It was nothing like I've ever seen before. He's crazy, and now he's going on to better things. So I love that guy, man.
Yeah, kind of about that. What role did your teammates play as competitors to you? Because, you know, the nature of track being that kind of individual sport, unless you're doing the relays, I think naturally there would be kind of that level of competition. What was your experience in that front?
As they say, iron sharpens iron. So, like, one of my best friends, again, the other 400 hurdler, Xavion, he was always a guy that I was like, I need to get like him. I need to do what he's doing. I need to, whatever he's doing, he's running faster than me. I need to do what he's doing. He's doing, 13 steps to hurdle 2. I need to be doing 13 steps to hurdle 2. Obviously, it doesn't work like that. But whatever he was doing, whatever I saw him doing, I needed in my brain to copy it. And that's how it kind of just like, that it comes into that play of iron sharpens iron, because now that he's doing good, I need to like raise myself to a level that he's at. So it's just like, every single time I see somebody do good, I'm just like, okay, now I need to do that too. Right, especially being on a team with a guy like Jaheim Hales. Jaheim Hales, Jamaican hurdler, 110 hurdler. He was at the Olympic trials for Jamaica this past year. He came second at nationals a couple years ago. Amazing guy. Like, generational talent. Like, being on a team with him, it's just like you want to run next to him in practice. I was the only guy in practice that wanted to do those long hills with him. I was the only guy in practice that wanted to do the 300 repeats with him because he was so quick. Every single time I just wanted to compete with him in practice.
Yeah, you got to keep that level of competition high. And as you said, iron sharpens iron. That's a phrase I love to throw around with the athletes. I think it really just kind of exemplifies the level of competitiveness that you need to get to in order to get to that level. You know, a lot of guys, or I would say a lot of younger guys, guys that are up and coming in the sport, they're kind of afraid to compete with their teammates. They don't want to see their teammates as like an enemy. Yeah, they want to be buddy-buddy. But the truth is, if you want to get to those heights, the best place to start is by treating everyone who you're racing against as if they were a competitor, whether they're teammate or whether they're not. So you clearly exemplify that mentality, man. You keep it competitive, and I think that's a great thing. Yeah. I kind of want to go back. You were talking a little bit earlier. You mentioned one of your teammates made it to hurdle 2 in 13 steps, and you wanted to match that pace. Yeah. Is counting steps something that you actually do regularly as a sprinter? And if so, could you elaborate on that a little more?
So it's really only a thing in the 400 hurdles. I mean, it's kind of a thing in the 110 hurdles. Like the 110 hurdles, it's 3 steps in between each hurdle. That's the standard of 110 hurdling. You're never going to have a guy that's 2-stepping in between hurdles. That's impossible. Nobody has that kind of gait. Nobody has that kind of leg length. In the 400 hurdles, though, everyone's different heights, everyone's different speeds. So, and plus the hurdles are like, 10 meters apart each in between. So you'll have guys doing different steps to different hurdles. So for me, I'm 21 steps to the first hurdle out of the blocks because the first hurdle is always the longest. Then in between each hurdle is the same length after that. So I'll do 14 steps to each hurdle. And 14 stepping will involve me like using alternate legs. So I'll have to switch my legs. So I'm ambidextrous in my legs. For X, he has the 13 steps. So he's going to be I think he's a right leg lead. So he's right leg to each hurdle. So he just has a different gait than me. He's way taller than me. He's like 6'2". So he's just going to have a shorter amount of steps to each hurdle. Not that he's going to be faster than me, but I mean, currently he is, but I'm going to beat that. But he's just going to have less steps to take in between each hurdle. It's just technique. No sprinter does, like, if you're in a 400, you're not gonna be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
In the 400 hurdles, yes, some people actually do count in their head. I don't. I just go based on whatever leg I'm using for that hurdle.
Right.
So
you've gotten it so down packed from practicing it. It's like,
I've gotten it decently down. I'm still a little.
Yeah, it just comes in like
I got a lot of work
rhythm.
to do. Yeah.
So is the peak of your sprinting coming down to just hitting that rhythm and that stride perfectly,
100%.
or is there something more to it?
Obviously, everyone can get faster. Like, nobody's at their peak speed. But for me, definitely it comes down to my form, my technique, my efficiency. If I'm coming off that hurdle and I'm using any excess movements, like swinging my arm back, one of my PRs, my most crucial race, I swung back and I lost the race in the last 100 meters because this guy, he was super efficient coming down that backstretch. He was really square over the hurdle. I kept swinging my arm back. That's wasted movement. That's me swinging my momentum somewhere else. So if I'm more square over the hurdle, I'm coming over the hurdle square, I'm not going to waste any movement. Like, I'm going to be more efficient over the hurdle. I'm going to be faster over the hurdle, like the guy who beat me in that race. But it's something I have to work on. It's something I've been working on, and unfortunately, I didn't get to test my hypothesis of what I was working on this past spring because I was injured. But it's something I'm super excited to test out next spring.
Right. All right, yeah. And now tell me a little bit about your injury. What was that like? What was the injury like? How did your recovery process go?
It was definitely one of the hardest moments in my life. It really wasn't a crazy injury, but this past spring has been some of the hardest moments in my life. It was a stress reaction, and it happened in January right after winter break. It was like my first Saturday practice, first hurdle practice after winter break. And I was doing just a normal like 6-step 400 hurdle drill, and I come off the hurdle and I don't really like absorb the shock in my right foot. And I just feel weird. Like, my foot just feels weird. I'm like, oh, okay, it feels like I rolled my ankle or something. I keep doing practice. I feel fine, whatever. It hurts a little bit. I go to the next practice the next day. It's tempo, like 300s or something. And I need to get my foot taped. And I'm just like, okay, like, whatever. It'll go away. It persists. It persisted. I kept feeling it. My trainer said it was a mid-ankle sprain. So I was like, okay, whatever. It'll heal in a couple weeks. I keep running. This is indoor now, like running 400s. I was running a little bit of 200s just for fun, just to see it. But I'm running with my ankle taped the entire time. So I'm a little bit hindered. I'm running slower than, well, hypothetically slower than I was, but faster than I had in the previous season at that time. So I go to conference, and I'm in a boot at that time, like in my right foot, and I'm just like, I don't even know if I'm going to run. Because it just hurt a lot. I felt decent enough to run, and then when I'm warming up, like, I'm just like, is it really worth it to keep injuring myself and prolonging this injury so I can't run an outdoor? But I'm just like, you know what? Screw it. I'll do it. And my parents were there, and I'm in the docks lining up to go on the track. We're the next heat up, and my mom and my sister are on the railing, and my mom comes over to me, and she gives me this hug, and I can almost hear this, like, weirdness in her voice, this fear, and she's like, on the verge of tears, and she's like, you got this, like, you got this, I know you got this. And I almost cried in that moment, and I'm about to line up, like, and to run, and I'm like, I have to do it for my mom, I have to do it for my family, they're all here. And I get in that block, I'm super ready, like, I'm locked in, and I get on the first 50 meters, I feel amazing, I'm catching the guy in lane 5 already, I get out like a rocket. I get to that straightaway, that little minimal straightaway in an indoor track, if you've ever seen an indoor track.
Yeah.
I go down.
Oh.
Yeah. I slow up and I go down, and I just lay on that track and I cry.
Yeah.
That was a difficult moment in my career because I had come off last year missing the final by 0.01 seconds. If you've seen that, I need to show you that race. It's a crazy race. My sophomore year, I broke the 400 record, and I broke it missing the final by 1 place by 0.01. So I was like, oh, I have to make that final. So I wanted to run 46 in that race, and I had to go down. Like, it was frustrating, and I had dreams to be in that final. I wanted to place. I wanted to medal because I wanted to prove I was something more than just a 400 hurdler. And I know that I am, but it's not important to my career to do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right,
so,
right.
Yeah, like
this
injury, it's still persisting a little bit, but you know, I'm working through it. I'm going through therapy and stuff. But yeah.
And we are going to get into your recovery and, you know, what you plan to do in your senior year. We're going to get into a little bit more right after the break, right here on Jake's Hot Takes, only on WGNY 1220 94.5 News Talk Sports. We'll be right back with Elijah Mallard after this.
Thinking about remodeling your kitchen or bath? Wayne's Way Wholesale Cabinets has a great selection of all wood cabinets in the styles and colors to make your remodeling dreams come to life. Go to wayneswaycabinets.com for more info. Wayne's Way Cabinets, 1829 South Road, Wappingers Falls. Call 845-280-0880. Stop by and talk to Wayne today. You'll be glad you did. CDS Auto and Truck Repair is your 5-star one-stop shop for all your vehicle's needs from A to Z, offering full vehicle diagnostics. Towing is available, and they now offer fleet service. CDS Auto and Truck Repair. Call 845-563-9987. That's 845-563-9987. CDS Auto and Truck Repair, 2917 Route 9W, New Windsor.
You've long known that Newburgh Auto Spa on Route 17K utilizes top caliber products and the latest technology to give your vehicle the proper maintenance it needs. Whether it be a computerized soft cloth car wash, detailing consisting of a comprehensive bumper-to-bumper cleaning of your entire interior and exterior, or a fuel-efficient oil change from a trained technician, Newburgh Auto Spa is the place to go. Now, Newburgh Auto Spa is a full-service automotive center. That's right, Newburgh Auto Spa now offers tires, brakes, rotors, tune-ups, alternators, and more, all with the same professionalism and quality you've become accustomed to. For a full list of automotive services offered in specials, go to NewburghAutoSpa.com. Whether you need a basic car wash, a quick oil change, or now more extensive automotive service, Newburgh Auto Spa is the place to go. Newburgh Auto Spa, quick, convenient, clean, located at 86 Route 17K and online at NewburghAutoSpa.com. Now offering a full range of automotive services. Newburgh Auto Spa, quick, convenient, clean.
The Roma Deli, 237 Myers Corners Road, Wappingers Falls, is your neighborhood family-owned and operated deli, offering breakfast, lunch, and catering options. The Roma Deli has brought a little piece of the Bronx to Wappingers, including fresh-made sandwiches, Italian specialties, and desserts, all prepared and cooked in-house with authentic Italian ingredients. Their large menu provides lots of options to personalize your order to your taste. Vegan and vegetarian options available. The Roma Deli, offering catering that is perfect for any party or business function. Go to RomaDeli1.com or call 845-297-1200.
Michael's Appliances presents Ask Andy, the appliance expert. Andy, what makes my oven smell so bad when I self-clean?
Self-clean, my favorite weapon in the world. Self-cleaning is a brutal environment. Most people don't think about it. They hear self-clean. I'm not really sure if they're picturing scrubbing bubbles inside there, scrubbing, but what's really happening is we're heating the oven up hot enough to carbonize protein. We're going to take the food stuff that's left in your stove, and we're actually going to carbonize it. We're going to turn it to dust. So we're at 700 degrees. So why does it smell bad? You're setting fire to a chicken. Today, a lot of the new stoves, because of the energy guidelines, there is no real self-clean anymore. They don't want those high temperatures. It's a huge waste of energy. It's very easy. You don't have to get on your hands and knees and your back doesn't hurt. You're not scrubbing the stove, but we use a ton of energy to clean the inside of that stove by heating it up.
Shop with the experts. Nobody knows appliances like Michael's Appliance Center, 585 East Main Street, Middletown. Online at michaelsappliance.com.
Welcome back to Jake's Hot Takes, only on WGNY 1220 94.5 News, Talk, Sports. And when we left you on a bit of a cliffhanger. Elijah was just telling us about a pretty devastating injury that he had secured for himself. So I guess, every story does need a happy ending. So let's talk about your recovery a little bit, because you were walking coming in here. I saw you. So.
Yeah, no, the foot's feeling pretty good. It's come along in the past couple of months. I've just been going to PT, and I do an acupuncture, chiropractor. So it's coming along well. I've been running recently. Right now I'm on actually like a recovery week. So I'm just kind of doing pool workouts, aqua jogging, stuff like that. Just easier stuff. And then next week I'll kind of get back into my regiment will switch, so I'll be doing more days throughout the week. But I feel great. It's a little hesitant on the foot, just because I'm a little scared on it. But everything's going well. I'm really hoping to have a really good fall season, fall training season, and to get into that indoor season and really break out and just hit the ground
definitely,
running.
Man. Definitely, metaphorically and physically hit the ground running. All right. So let's talk about your entrance into Syracuse a little bit. You were the talk of the town, exiting high school. I can remember everybody was super hyped knowing that we were graduating with a guy that was running for Syracuse. Tell me about that recruiting process.
Yeah, so it was a little scary at first, especially during COVID. If anyone knows what it's like, it was awful. My senior year, I was emailing coaches and stuff. I emailed Penn State. I actually emailed my Syracuse coach, and I wasn't getting much of a response. It was in pairing of it being COVID and in pairing of, I was running the 300 indoors. Not a lot of teams recruit for the 300 because the 300 is not really an event run in college, and you can't really gauge that to a 400. You can kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Pair it to a 400 and kind of translate it, but it's not the same. You need to actually run a 400.
It's not like an exact one-to-one.
Exactly. So I was only really running the three. New York has unorthodox events: the 55 hurdles, the 300. Normal states run the 60 and the 400. But it wasn't until my outdoor year outdoor season where I actually started running the 400 hurdles, where coaches started to look at me. So I took a visit to University of Buffalo, University of Manhattan, University of High Point University, and Syracuse. It's the only 4 schools I visited because those are only really 4 I was interested in. A bunch of other schools didn't respond to me because I broke out late. So the one thing that was funny was I was talking to my coach at Syracuse, and he was being a little sparing with me, emailing me kind of, not really interested, kind of interested. But we had a phone call. I really liked the school when I visited. It was either there or High Point that came down to my last 2, but I ended up committing to Syracuse on half scholarship. So I was really excited, and I told my mom, I was like, I didn't get my dream of wanting you to not pay for anything. I wanted that full scholarship. I really wanted it. It was something I had dreamed of since I was a kid. And I was like, Mom, I'm going to work my butt off so that you don't have to pay for me or anything. And she's like, okay, you're going to lock in, you're not going to bring any of your video games to school. You're going to be super studious, and you're going to do everything you can to get that full scholarship. Well, I didn't have to do any of that. So, literally the week after I committed to Syracuse, we go down to the Penn Relays in Pennsylvania, and my Syracuse is there, with their 4x1 team and a couple hurdlers. And they were there on the day of the 4x4. And that previous week, I'd been telling my high school coach, hey, we can run 321 in the 4x4 if I just run a 46. So we go down to Penn Relays, and Jaden leads off with a good leg. We get in first. Dion keeps us in second. Peter he was a distance runner, so we fell back into 5th. There's a 20-meter gap on the guy in front of me. I get the baton, and I book it. I catch him at the last 100 meters. I come through the line. The announcer through Penn Relays booms through the mic, 46.89, which was the second fastest split of the day behind all the Jamaican teams, the hundreds of high school teams that were there. So out of hundreds and hundreds of boys, I ran the second fastest split of the day.
Wow.
And there was a bunch of Jamaican teams there, and those guys are fast.
They can run, yeah.
They are super fast. So I go to my high school coach, and he's like, call your coach after this and ask for more money. And I was like, okay. He's like, you could go to any school in the country right now with the times you're running, because I was running 52 in the 400 hurdles, and I also paired it with a 46. So he's like, you could go anywhere basically. So I call my coach, and he's like, yes, instantly, yes, I'll give you more money.
Okay.
So it was a great little story. And I was over the moon about it. It was the fruits of my labor really showing through, and showing that whatever I put my mind to, I can do. And it really gave me that feeling of success and everything. So it was an awesome feeling.
Okay, all right. And follow-up question, did you hit any hiccups during the recruiting process? You told a great story. You have any bad stories you want to tell?
Yeah, I emailed the Penn State coach, and he kind of big broed me.
Oh.
he was like, I don't know, you got to run faster basically. I emailed him in the fall, so I really wasn't good in the fall of my senior year. But he kind of big broed me. He was like, nah, you got to run a little faster.
That's par for the course.
Here's our walk-on times.
Yeah.
Stuff. Yeah. These are walk. But they're a really good program, so I'm not even tripping about it.
Yeah.
They're a super good program. I have if you know who James Onwuka is.
Yeah.
He's a guy from Newburgh.
He
went there. Awesome, amazing guy, great runner. They have an amazing program over there.
Real talented guy. Yeah. For sure. And what kind of struggles have you come across as, trying to balance being a collegiate athlete and a student? It's, it's a pretty intense lifestyle one way or the other, and you're currently balancing both. So how do you do it?
Time management was a really, really big thing for me my freshman year. I've grown up from my freshman year ways. Actually, really my freshman and sophomore year. I was telling you off camera that I had switched majors going into my sophomore year. I switched from exercise science to creative writing. And I love creative writing so much. Exercise science just wasn't for me, but it was also impairing that I was a freshman and I was stupid. I wasn't doing my work. In my spring semester of my freshman year, I didn't go to any of my bio labs. Ooh. I didn't go to a single one, and I ended up withdrawing from bio 2 because I just wasn't studious. I wasn't doing my work. I didn't really care. I was like, oh, I'm here to run track. Academics will come. No. I needed to focus on my academics, and I ended up doing that. Like, so right now I've been on honor roll for 2 semesters in a row, and I'm looking to be on it for my 3rd because honestly, that feeling of getting an A is just like it's like no other. Like, it's a really good feeling.
It's a good feeling.
So yeah, I had a lot of growing up to do my freshman year.
Right.
That like it's not a matter of fact that being a student athlete is particularly super difficult. It's just the way you manage it. If you don't manage it right, you're not gonna do well. There's a freshman on my team right now that we're trying to coach through that. So he wasn't going to class. He wasn't doing some of his assignments. But he's a good kid. He's a smart kid. So we were just trying to tell him, like, hey, dude, you need to go to class. You need to do these assignments. If you need help, ask for help. That's the one thing people are afraid of, and that's one thing I was afraid of, asking for help. So once I figured that out, and once I actually like started to get to know my professors, like, it was easy. It's easy. It's like a video game.
Yeah,
it really is.
There you go. Now, one of the last things that I want to ask you about, and I really like picking your brain about the sport of track because I think track as a sport is deceptively complex. You know, a lot of people, they just look at it, well, it's just running, you know, but there's a lot more that goes into it. What is something about sprinting that only sprinters know about?
Speed
that only
reserve.
sprinters could know about?
Speed reserve. That's the one thing people don't think about when they're running, like, say, a 400 or something. Like, speed reserve is one of those things that most people don't think about. I didn't know about it until, like, until coming to college. My coach taught me it. He's like, hey, do you even know what speed reserve is? I'm like, no. Speed reserve is the thing that, say I'm running a 400. How fast am I going to get out in that first 200 in order to have enough energy and enough strength to finish that 400? So to calculate your speed reserve, you take like your PR in the 200. So for right now, my PR in the 200 indoors, because we're calculating it for, I don't know, my indoor 400, it's a 21.5 indoors. I'm not a 200 runner. It's not that fast. So my speed reserve would be around like 21.9, 21.8, something I'd want to get out in the first 200 of my 400. So it's literally how fast can I get out without dying in the next 200. And not a lot of people know of it, but they don't know exactly what speed reserve is. Like, they'll be like, oh, like, yeah, I'm going to get out this fast, but I don't want to die.
Right.
Like, but you can literally, like, calculate it.
Right.
So it's pretty cool. There's so much more that I'd love to talk about. But
Interesting. All right. Well, unfortunately, we don't have a whole lot of time left. We only got a couple minutes here, but I got some short little things that I want to mention to you about. What would you say your go-to recovery meal is?
Ooh. That's a good one. I want to say Chipotle.
Okay, yeah.
But that's probably not the best thing to say.
It's delicious, man. It's delicious.
It is.
And it's hearty.
It's super good.
It's
good for you.
Yeah, it keeps me full.
Yeah. But I don't know. Like, I just drink like a protein shake after practice. I try to just, chicken and rice and stuff like that. Like I said, Chipotle.
Right.
But, I'll drink. Like, I'll make a protein shake or something, but mainly, like, we have, like, this spot in the athletic facility. It's called Grab and Go. So I'll just grab, I don't know, some fruit or something after that, anything simple.
Right. Yeah. Got to keep it simple. Now, the last thing that I want to ask you about, and I know that this is probably a little personal for you, so feel free to not answer this question if you don't want to. Who do you think is starting for the Seahawks this year? Do you think it's Sam Darnold or do you think it's Jalen Milroe?
I think it's going to be Sam. I'm not upset about it. Like, I just think you can't start a rookie quarterback when you have a vet. Like,
yeah.
It's just in a realm of, like, I don't think Jalen Milroe is that ready. I think he's been looking good in camp, but I don't think he's ready enough to be starting. Casual Seahawks fans are like, oh my God, start Milroe. Start Milroe. Sam Darnold was washed in the one playoff game he played bad.
Yeah, and he led them to 14-3.
He led them to 14-3. He was playing like an MVP.
You don't just do that.
That's what I'm saying.
An average quarterback.
I'm not a Sam Darnold glazer. I was indifferent to him throughout the season, but people are like not giving him enough credit.
I might be a little too far on the opposite. I'm a bit of a Sam Darnold believer. I think that at his peak, Sam Darnold has the potential to be like a top 7 quarterback in the league. Honestly,
He hasn't really had a chance. He was on the Jets.
That's what I'm saying.
He's on the Jets.
And then he was on the Panthers,
Exactly.
competing with Baker Mayfield.
And then a backup to Brock Purdy.
Yeah.
Like, he's not going to be given a chance. And the time he got a chance, like, people discredit him for it. He was on the Vikings with Jay Jettis. Yes, I get he has Jay Jettis.
Yeah. It's like he's kind of stacked.
Give the man his flowers.
Exactly.
Give the man his flowers.
That's what I'm saying.
The one thing I will say, he is walking into one of the worst O-lines in the league. So
yeah, it's a little tough. It's a little tough out there.
But we got Gray Zabel, so hopefully
Gray will be able to bolster it a little bit. Well, all right, Elijah, it has been a phenomenal interview with you today. I thank you so much for your time and coming out today.
It's been a pleasure.
Last thing, I give every athlete an opportunity to plug their Instagram if they'd like to. So look at the camera and give them your gram.
Eli.Mallard on Instagram.
There you go. Make sure to follow your boy. And that is it for my interview with Elijah. When we come back after the break, I'm going to be talking a little more national sports news. So make sure you stick around. It's going to be a good time only on WGNY 1220 94.5 News Talk Sports. We'll be right back after this.
Thinking about remodeling your kitchen or bath? Wayne's Way Wholesale Cabinets has a great selection of all wood cabinets in the styles and colors to make your remodeling dreams come to life. Go to wayneswaycabinets.com for more info. Wayne's Way Cabinets, 1829 South Road, Wappingers Falls. Call 845-280-0880. Stop by and talk to Wayne today. You'll be glad you did. CDS Auto and Truck Repair is your 5-star one-stop shop for all your vehicle's needs from A to Z, offering full vehicle diagnostic. Towing is available, and they now offer fleet service. CDS Auto and Truck Repair. Call 845-563-9987. That's 845-563-9987. CDS Auto and Truck Repair, 2917 Route 9W, New Windsor.
You've long known that Newburgh Auto Spa on Route 17K utilizes top caliber products and the latest technology to give your vehicle the proper maintenance it needs. Whether it be a computerized soft cloth car wash, detailing consisting of a comprehensive bumper-to-bumper cleaning of your entire interior and exterior, or a fuel-efficient oil change from a trained technician, Newburgh Auto Spa is the place to go. Now, Newburgh Auto Spa is a full-service automotive center. That's right, Newburgh Auto Spa now offers tires, brakes, rotors, tune-ups, alternators, and more, all with the same professionalism and quality you've become accustomed to. For a full list of automotive services offered in specials, go to NewburghAutospa.com. Whether you need a basic car wash, a quick oil change, or now more extensive automotive service, Newburgh Auto Spa is the place to go. Newburgh Auto Spa, quick, convenient, clean, located at 86 Route 17K and online at NewburghAutospa.com. Now offering a full range of automotive services. Newburgh Auto Spa, quick, convenient, clean.
The Roma Deli, 237 Myers Corners Road, Wappingers Falls, is your neighborhood family-owned and operated deli, offering breakfast, lunch, and catering options. The Roma Deli has brought a little piece of the Bronx to Wappingers, including fresh-made sandwiches, Italian specialties, and desserts, all prepared and cooked in-house with authentic Italian ingredients. Their large menu provides lots of options to personalize your order to your taste. Vegan and vegetarian options available. The Roma Deli, offering catering that is perfect for any party or business function. Go to romadeli1.com or call 845-297-1200.
Michael's Appliances presents Ask Andy, the appliance expert. Andy, what makes my oven smell so bad when I self-clean?
Self-clean, my favorite weapon in the world. Self-cleaning is a brutal environment. Most people don't think about it. They hear self-clean. I'm not really sure if they're picturing scrubbing bubbles inside there, but what's really happening is we're heating the oven up hot enough to carbonize protein. We're going to take the food stuff that's left in your stove, and we're actually going to carbonize it. We're going to turn it to dust. So we're at 700 degrees. So why does it smell bad? You're setting fire to a chicken. Today, a lot of the new stoves, because of the energy guidelines, there is no real self-clean anymore. They don't want those high temperatures. It's a huge waste of energy. It's very easy. You don't have to get on your hands and knees and your back doesn't hurt. You're not scrubbing the stove, but we use a ton of energy to clean the inside of that stove by heating it up.
Shop with the experts. Nobody knows appliances like Michael's Appliance Center, 585 East Main Street, Middletown. Online at michaelsappliance.com.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Jake's Hot Takes. I had a great interview with Elijah. I had a great time, but the fun is over. It's time to get back down to business. We got some big news coming out of the NFL world today, and the first thing that I want to talk about is Mr. Christian Wilkins. A very strange situation is kind of developing between Christian Wilkins and the Raiders right now. They have just cut him from the roster. They said, go on, get out of here, Mr. Wilkins. After they signed him to, I think it was like one of the biggest defensive lineman contracts in league history not too long ago. Christian Wilkins, of course, an incredibly talented defensive lineman who got his start and made his name for himself in Miami before being released and going to play for Vegas. And when Christian Wilkins initially came onto the scene in Vegas, I was a little spooked. I was like, wow, this is like a really, Max Crosby, Mad Max, and Big Christian Wilkins, like, these are two guys who are like kind of game wreckers in the sense of like, I don't really trust any offensive lineman to be able to handle them consistently. They're kind of guys that you need to scheme your offense around to make sure that they can make as little of an impact as possible. So seeing those two guys on the same team, on the same defensive line, I was kind of like, man, this is going to get serious. Like this Raiders team is some serious business. Flash forward to the end of this previous season, and of course that was not the case. The Raiders were terrible as usual. Mad Max did his thing, but I believe Christian Wilkins was dealing with some injury, either injury or he just wasn't showing up for them. Let me fact check myself right now. No, he was injured. No, Christian Wilkins did get injured. I don't need to fact check myself. I trust myself. So Christian Wilkins gets injured, and the Raiders' defensive line never really manages to recover. We were toying around with the possibility of, Wilkins is going to come back healthy this season. So this year is really going to be the year that the Raiders get it done. And of course, after Wilkins just got released, they basically let go of their second best defensive player, besides, of course, Mad Max. And now they got nothing to show for it either. They didn't trade him. They didn't get really any tangible benefit from letting Wilkins go. And the actual reason for letting Christian Wilkins go is currently unknown. Reports out of the Raiders locker room said that he actually got released because of an incident with another teammate, which is immediately, the alarm bells start sounding. It's like, what on earth is going on? It's like Antonio Brown literally pulling a knife on one of his teammates was not enough to get that guy waived immediately. So it's like, what is going on with Christian Wilkins? So ultimately, we don't know what the situation is, unfortunately. Trust me, I wish that I could come to you and be like, this is breaking news. This is why Christian Wilkins got cut. But, I unfortunately, I don't have inside sources with the Raiders. I don't have inside sources with Christian Wilkins. So all I can tell you is what is currently available in the media cycle. And Wilkins has not spoken on it. The Raiders have not spoken on it. No teammates, none of Wilkins' former teammates have come out and spoken about it. But it is very strange because, like I said, I still think Wilkins is probably like a top 5 or 6 defensive lineman in the league right now. I don't think there's many guys that outclass him. I would say probably Dexter Lawrence, Chris Jones, Quinnen Williams, maybe Cameron Hayward if you really like old people, but I think he's probably just a little beyond that. But yeah, no, I mean, I'm sure there are other guys other names that I could come up with. Vita Vea is another guy who, like, I could totally see him, being in that top 5-6 range. But ultimately, it's confusing to me because it's like the Raiders acquired this guy to help bolster their defensive line. He didn't really do his thing for them, and then they let him go. It's like, and now you're potentially letting some other team secure this guy for, basically no trade assets whatsoever. And it's not like they need to take on a hardy contract. They can just pay Wilkins whatever they agree to. So whenever I hear of a star guy, parting ways in an ugly way with his team, the first team that always comes to my mind is Philadelphia, because they are experts at scooping up the unwanted and turning them into superstars. You take a look at Oh God, why am I blanking on a name right now? Oh man. Wow, holy cow. I had a name in mind for Philly, but I completely blanked. But you guys know what I mean. Like Nolan Smith, a guy who had a draft slide. Jalen Carter, guy who had a draft slide, was projected to go super high, but teams didn't really want the baggage that came with him. So Philly just came in and picked him up. But I don't think Philly is really a threat to secure Wilkins here. I think he might cost a little too much money. I think the best way for Wilkins to play this is probably to find an up-and-coming team that not only needs his expertise, but has the cap space to accommodate him. Immediately, I think of a team like the Washington Commanders, but they're kind of a lazy answer. They're kind of my go-to for a team that needs a superstar on defense and has the cap space to acquire one. Because that Washington defense, they're solid all around. But I wouldn't say that there's anybody that really elevates that team or that defense to the next level. I think every great defense needs a single guy that you can point to and you can be like, yeah, he makes a tangible impact. For the Chiefs, it's Chris Jones. For the Broncos, it's Pat Surtain. For the Giants, it's Dexter Lawrence. For the Jets, it's Quinnen Williams or Sauce Gardner. I would say that both of those guys vastly improve their defense. But ultimately, I think New York Giants would actually be a much more interesting landing spot for Wilkins. Dexter Lawrence and Christian Wilkins were actually college teammates, so they kind of have that built-in chemistry. So I would personally love to see Wilkins come and play for the Big Blue. I think it would give the Giants possibly the best pass rush in the entire NFL, which means that they basically have the best defense in the NFL because, if you haven't heard this saying, it's better to have a great defensive lineman than a great safety because a great defensive lineman can automatically eliminate the need for a great safety. If a quarterback goes unpressured and he's just slinging the ball downfield, it doesn't matter how good of a safety you're going to have. The quarterback's going to connect eventually. There's no safety, there's no cornerback, there's no linebacker, there's no anybody that can defend passes, consistent passes for an entire game. They're going to slip up, and you only need to make that slip up once in order for something really catastrophic to happen. So having a great rush and a guy that can put a lot of pressure on the quarterback is very important because a quarterback that is constantly running for his life is not going to be able to make as good of throws. It makes the cornerback's job easier. I think the Giants, realistically, their defense can get over the hurdle of not having a lot of great help in the backfield. And another piece that would draw Christian Wilkins to the Giants would be, of course, he previously played with Javon Holland in Miami, new Giants safety, Javon Holland. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I think that the Giants, back to what I was saying about the Giants defense. The Giants defense with Christian Wilkins, I think would bolster a really dangerous pass rush that I don't think many offensive lines in the NFL would be able to handle. I think every Giants game would probably come down to whether or not the offense could score one touchdown and one field goal. Every Giants game would be ending 6-10 or 7-10. It's yeah, sure, the Giants might not be great on the offensive side of the ball, but on the defensive side of the ball, you are in a much better position to win games if you just entirely stop the other team from scoring because you got these four monsters on the defensive line in Kayvon Thibodeau, Brian Burns, Dexter Lawrence, and Christian Wilkins, who will literally maul every single offensive line in the NFL. I don't even think there's much even Philly's line, I think, would struggle with dealing with those four. Not to mention Bobby Okereke, a phenomenal blitzing linebacker. This guy is fast. He comes downhill. He hits hard. He would be the perfect fifth piece to kind of tie this whole team together because not only do you have to deal with the four guys on the line, you got to deal with this one guy standing a couple yards back who literally wants to take your head off and hurt your quarterback. That's the mentality that these guys are coming in with. So all in all, I think Christian Wilkins would be a phenomenal addition to the Giants. I think he'd be a great addition to Washington. I honestly think he'd be a great addition to whatever team he played for. Obviously, assuming that these issues, these off-field issues, these locker room issues that Wilkins had with the Raiders do not become a consistent trend, because like I said, it takes a lot for a team to just give the boot to a guy that talented. And I think any team that is looking into Wilkins should be deeply concerned about that. So that's kind of my 2 cents. Some other things. Let's get some quick training camp stories out of the way. Caleb Williams looks really bad. I, of course, have been a very vocal Caleb Williams supporter. Led to many clashes with my dad, who is an avid Caleb Williams hater. He thinks Caleb is not all that. I think Caleb is all that, but unfortunately, if Caleb has another bad year, I might have to concede that my dad was right again, which is never a good feeling. But, I'm riding with Caleb this year, all right? Caleb gets one more year out of me, and I'm riding with Caleb Williams. And if he underperforms or if he performs really poorly, I'm throwing in the towel. I'm throwing in the Caleb Williams fan club towel. He came into the scene with so many expectations and so much buzz around him, and he got off to an okay start, but got severely outclassed by Jaden Daniels, who may have had one of the most successful rookie seasons for a quarterback we have ever seen. So, I kind of feel for Caleb in the sense of, like, he got his thunder completely stolen. But on the other hand, it's like, if you don't want your thunder to get stolen, how about you play a little better? He's remarkably safe with the ball. He doesn't throw a lot of picks. But he just doesn't – I just don't think he necessarily has the processing ability to make those adjustments on the fly. He's great when the system works for him, which is why I think Ben Johnson can really give him an advantage. But ultimately, I don't necessarily see him as that quarterback that can take a play and bring it to the next level, in the way that, like, Mahomes and Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen and even a guy like Jaden Daniels can do. That improvisational, on-the-fly type of situation just doesn't really seem like it is Caleb Williams' vibe. And then last thing I want to talk about is the Bengals signed Shamar Stewart's. I recorded last week's episode on Thursday, and by Saturday they had signed Shamar Stewart. So just another Jake's pre-recorded takes that aged terribly. But anyway, when we get back, we're going to be talking some more NFL news, so make sure you stick around right here on Jake's Hot Takes, only on WGNY 1220 94.5 News Talk Sports. We'll be right back after this.
Thinking about remodeling your kitchen or bath? Wayne's Way Wholesale Cabinets has a great selection of all-wood cabinets in the styles and colors to make your remodeling dreams come to life. Go to WaynesWayCabinets.com for more info. Wayne's Way Cabinets, 1829 South Road, Wappingers Falls. Call 845-280-0880. Stop by and talk to Wayne today. You'll be glad you did. CDS Auto and Truck Repair is your 5-star one-stop shop for all your vehicle's needs from A to Z, offering full vehicle diagnostics. Towing is available, and they now offer fleet service. CDS Auto and Truck Repair. Call 845-563-9987. That's 845-563-9987. CDS Auto and Truck Repair, 2917 Route 9W, New Windsor.
You've long known that Newburgh Auto Spa on Route 17K utilizes top caliber products and the latest technology to give your vehicle the proper maintenance it needs. Whether it be a computerized soft cloth car wash, detailing consisting of a comprehensive bumper-to-bumper cleaning of your entire interior and exterior, or a fuel-efficient oil change from a trained technician, Newburgh Auto Spa is the place to go. Now, Newburgh Auto Spa is a full-service automotive center. That's right, Newburgh Auto Spa now offers tires, brakes, rotors, tune-ups, alternators, and more, all with the same professionalism and quality you've become accustomed to. For a full list of automotive services offered in specials, go to NewburghAutospa.com. Whether you need a basic car wash, a quick oil change, or now more extensive automotive service, Newburgh Auto Spa is the place to go. Newburgh Auto Spa, quick, convenient, clean, located at 86 Route 17K and online at NewburghAutospa.com. Now offering a full range of automotive services. Newburgh Auto Spa, quick, convenient, clean.
The Roma Deli, 237 Myers Corners Road, Wappingers Falls, is your neighborhood family-owned and operated deli, offering breakfast, lunch, and catering options. The Roma Deli has brought a little piece of the Bronx to Wappingers, including fresh-made sandwiches, Italian specialties, and desserts, all prepared and cooked in-house with authentic Italian ingredients. Their large menu provides lots of options to personalize your order to your taste. Vegan and vegetarian options available. The Roma Deli, offering catering that is perfect for any party or business function. Go to romadeli1.com or call 845-297-1200.
Michael's Appliances presents Ask Andy, the appliance expert. Andy, what makes my oven smell so bad when I self-clean?
Self-clean, my favorite weapon in the world. Self-cleaning is a brutal environment. Most people don't think about it. They hear self-clean. I'm not really sure if they're picturing scrubbing bubbles inside there, but what's really happening is we're heating the oven up hot enough to carbonize protein. We're going to take the food stuff that's left in your stove, and we're actually going to carbonize it. We're going to turn it to dust. So we're at 700 degrees. So why does it smell bad? You're setting fire to a chicken. Today, a lot of the new stoves, because of the energy guidelines, there is no real self-clean anymore. They don't want those high temperatures. It's a huge waste of energy. It's very easy. You don't have to get on your hands and knees and your back doesn't hurt. You're not scrubbing the stove, but we use a ton of energy to clean the inside of that stove by heating it up.
Shop with the experts. Nobody knows appliances like Michael's Appliance Center, 585 East Main Street, Middletown. Online at michaelsappliance.com.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Jake's Hot Takes. It's your boy, Jake McVey, the host, the mastermind. So I'm going to jump right back into some of this training camp talk that I was just doing before the break. And I want to talk about some of the injuries that have been coming up. Just a couple of the big names that have sustained injuries. Matthew Stafford took a lower body injury. It seems like the Rams are mildly concerned about his recovery. Stafford, of course, being a much older player, these are much bigger concerns that you need to have. And an interesting thread that I kind of want to talk about is the fact that I don't think the Rams are adequately preparing for life after Stafford. I mean, think about it. How many more years in the NFL does Matthew Stafford really have? How many good years? How many years where he can compete for a Super Bowl? This year and maybe next year? Do we think Matthew Stafford is going to be playing for 3 more years, like really well? Do we think he's going to be playing for 4 more years? I don't think so. I think this might really be the last year of high production Stafford, especially with these injuries that he's taking. So I think there's an interesting link to make there, where the Rams are not necessarily all that prepared for, getting Stafford. The Rams are not that prepared for life after Matthew Stafford. And maybe that's something that they plan to address on the offseason. Maybe it's something that they plan to address during the draft. But I think the point is that it doesn't seem like the Rams have a backup plan for if this guy goes down and he doesn't get back up. So that's an interesting lens to look at this situation through. Ultimately, I think Stafford is going to be okay for this season at least. So rest easy. Matthew Stafford fantasy owners, take a deep breath. I think he's going to be okay for this one. Isaiah Likely was another victim of the injury bug getting to him. I believe he had a shoulder injury. Let me double check that real quick. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Isaiah Likely broke a bone in his foot. So Isaiah Likely is going to be out for the foreseeable future. I believe he is expected to miss, I think, the first 5 weeks of the NFL season. I'm an Isaiah Likely fantasy owner. I'm devastated. I'm throwing a fit. I'm throwing chairs. I'm sweeping everything off my desk. But no, it stinks because the Ravens have done such an artful job of transitioning the role of primary tight end and honestly primary target for Lamar Jackson from Mark Andrews to Isaiah Likely. I think they did a phenomenal job of, integrating Likely in the reps and getting him more involved in the offense and not just using him like a new Mark Andrews, using him in a way that really made his physical talents apparent. Mark Andrews is much less of a receiving threat guy. He's much more short range, and he's going to put his shoulder down and he's going to run you over. He's great in the red zone. He's great in a first down situation. Not so great in the middle, not so great on contested catches. And that's where Isaiah Likely comes in. He's a lot larger physically than Mandrews, who kind of has like a stocky, almost more like a fullback build if the fullback had really long arms and legs, because Mandrews still does have some length in the arms and in the legs. But I think the Ravens have done a phenomenal job in adapting Isaiah Likely into the tight end of the future as Mark Andrews gets phased out. And that awful drop that he had at the end of last season when the Bills beat the Ravens, that was basically the nail in the coffin for Mark Andrews as a Raven. It's kind of hard to win the locker room, or not win the locker room, win the fan base back after that. I know the locker room was pretty generous to Mandrews. But, you know, this season did seem like the perfect time for Likely to take that next step and really cement himself as the number one target. And the fact that he's not going to be able to do that until a couple weeks into the season, it's like, that's a bummer. You know, that's a big old bummer. But, no, ultimately, I'm almost certain Isaiah Likely is going to come back fine. And yes, I am saying that because I drafted him in fantasy, so I need him to come back and be healthy this season. So that's the deal with Isaiah Likely. Christian Gonzalez got himself injured. I believe he was another lower body injury. I believe it was a knee injury. Christian Gonzalez, of course, I don't think he's played a full season for the Patriots yet. And when he's on the field, he is statistically one of the most impressive cornerbacks in the entire NFL. Drafted 2 years ago by the Patriots, and unfortunately just has never been able to really take that next step due to his consistent injury concern. And I kind of want to talk in general about injuries, kind of using Christian Gonzalez's career as like a lens for this. Injuries are part of the game, yes. I would say that part of the requirement for being a great NFL player means that you need to be able to avoid injuries. You look at the all-time greats, and they did not get injured all the time like Christian Gonzalez is right now. Just off the dome, you think guys that have had very long careers. Tom Brady, I mean, he suffered some injuries, but especially late down the stretch in his career, he was phenomenal at avoiding injuries. And just luck of the draw. He just didn't get that bad hit that would take you out. You look at a guy like Jerry Rice, did not deal with a lot of injuries throughout his career. Emmitt Smith did not deal with a lot of injuries throughout his career. Darrelle Revis, I would say probably the greatest player to ever have injury issues, would... Megatron, maybe, Calvin Johnson, but point is, you look at the all-time great careers, and big surprise, part of being an all-time great means you need to be on the field a lot. And unfortunately, I think that people kind of get too caught up in the discourse and in the numbers of an NFL player as opposed to what they're actually accomplishing on the field. You know, I think Christian Gonzalez is a perfect example of that. You know, people talk about, oh, you need to rank Christian Gonzalez a top 3 cornerback in the NFL because when he's on the field, when he's healthy, he's doing this, and he's got, you know, the best pass defended rate, and he's got one of the lowest passer ratings when targeted, and this and that, and he's, you know, got all these, big plays. I don't have to rate Christian Gonzalez anything until he finishes a full season in the NFL. I don't think that we need to be elevating guys based on things that we haven't seen them do just because, well, they're good when they're healthy. It's like, no, we don't know that Christian Gonzalez can maintain this rate because we've never seen him maintain this rate for an entire season. It is very easy, especially when you're going on averages, you know, average passer rating when targeted, average passes defended, you know, especially when you have a smaller sample size and you're looking at things from an average. That is very, it is very good for misusing statistics and using these statistics to kind of form a narrative. You know, I think basketball is a phenomenal example of how averages can't always be trusted. You know, just because if a guy shoots one basket and he makes it, then for that game, he had a 100% field goal percentage. But no one's going to say that this guy is an amazing shooter or he's an amazing basketball player or look at how great he gets to the rim just because he has a 100% field goal shooting percentage. And that is kind of the best example. Even a guy with 3 buckets in a game. You know, let's say a guy goes 3 for 3, gets 100% field goal rating. That doesn't make him a great shooter. That doesn't make him a great basketball player, because you're looking at the averages instead of looking at what he actually accomplished on the... Ooh, excuse me. Breakfast is fighting back. It can feel me getting all fired up right now. I keep all my anger in my gut. What I'm saying is, you can't use averages as a determinant for how good a player is. I think volume stats need to be included, because without those volume stats, those averages don't mean anything. So ultimately, I think Christian Gonzalez is a phenomenal example of how to, use misleading statistics and use bad data to try and push a narrative for a particular player. I would say guys that also kind of fall into this pit are... this is kind of a different talking point, but guys like Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow is a perfect example where he kind of does have the combination of volume and averages, where he does strike a really great balance there. But ultimately, Joe gets injured a lot when his team really needs him, vis-a-vis the season before last season, where the Bengals were making a playoff push with Jake Browning after Burrow went down. It's like they absolutely could have made a run that season. People are willing to discount so much. Fans are willing to discount so much because of injuries, a lot of what-if conversations. Tua kind of falls into that pit of, like, what if. I think the king of what-ifs, even though he doesn't have much of an injury history, is Justin Herbert. I'm going to talk about what-ifs now, because that's what I feel like talking about. Herbert is the perfect example of a what-if guy. He has all the talent, and he, broke a bunch of records in his rookie year. And he looks great, and he's got great hair, and he's handsome, and he speaks nice. But ultimately, we have not seen anything that impressive out of Justin Herbert on a seasonal basis or on a career basis. I mean, really, Justin Herbert's biggest achievement in his entire NFL career is almost beating Trevor Lawrence and the Jacksonville Jaguars in a playoff game. Like, that's really the truth of it. But people always say, well, if Herbert had a better team, well, if Herbert didn't have Brandon Staley for the first, 4 years of his career, if Herbert had a better line that could protect him, if Herbert's team had a running game, if Herbert's team had a passing game, guess what? If you give Herbert Randy Moss and Jerry Rice and Emmitt Smith and Megatron and, Zach Martin and Anthony Munoz and all these guys, all these dogs on the team, and Tony Gonzalez and all these greats, of course he's going to be good. Guess what? If you improve a quarterback's team, of course they're going to play better. But for some reason, Chargers fans, and specifically Justin Herbert fans, are like, they just are like, well, if he had a better team, he'd be a better player. Of course, that's how it always works. You never see an amazing quarterback surrounded by an awful team. They always have good pieces to work with them, because football is a team sport. So I don't see why Herbert gets all these passes, and Burrow gets a lot of these passes too, because, well, if Burrow had a better defense, then they would have won 3 Super Bowls by now. Guess what? It's not happening, because the Bengals are a dysfunctional franchise. I'm not going to dump all over the Bengals again. I'm going to go back to the Chargers. But no, you know what? That's the show for today. I just realized the music kicked on. Anyway, thank you so much for listening. I have been Jake McVey. Jake's Hot Takes only on WGNY 1220 94.5 News Talk Sports. Tune in next Sunday. We got another interview for you. It's going to be great. Stick around. Well, don't stick around. Stay on WGNY, but stick around until next Sunday at noon for the next episode. Okay, bye. Love you all. Bye.